preparing.
Got it.
Oh, it's redirecting, I think.
Oh, there
we are. We're live. We're live.
Yay.
Okay, so let me gonna go to gallery, I think, so everybody can see us. Let me just check that. Exit full screen. Hello, everybody who's joining us. You know me, technical stuff. Let me just. Yay! Okay, we have people here. Woo! Okay, and we can see us all. Okay, super. Hello, girls.
Hello.
So hello, beautiful YouTube family. Tonight I have the absolute honor of sharing space with four beautiful rocking goddesses. So for anyone who doesn't know, Kerry from Galartic, give us a wave, Kerry.
Hi.
Like on a game show. The beautiful Emma Hughes. Emma Hughes.
Hello.
Taylor Moon. Good evening, Taylor Moon. Thank you for joining us. And the beautiful Candice Marie, that isn't her name. Spiritual Sunshine, also coming in live over there. And she's doing great. She's muted, but she's doing great. So welcome, everyone. Let me just say hello to everybody who's in the chat. We've got Tracy B and April and Beth and Beatrix and Annie. Hi, Annie. Alice, Nia, Dogsy D in the house. I don't know why I say that when Dogsy D's in the house, but Dogsy D's in the house. Nixie, Candice, another Candice. Conception Benson, hello. Mel G, Dragonfly, Jamie, Jammers is in the house. Paula, Karen Hughes, Yannicka. Hello. It's lovely to have you all here. Okay, so the reason that we are here this evening is that I've been speaking to these beautiful goddesses over the past couple of days because energy's just been weird. There's just been, and I know that word isn't great, but I don't have another word to describe it. So I thought that maybe if we put our beautiful 5 brains together and just open up a conversation, that maybe we can actually decipher WTF is going on. So in the chat, if you've been feeling like, I don't know, uncomfortable, things aren't as they usually are, give me a little thumbs up or pop something in the chat to let us know that you're feeling it too, because this is a conversation that I've been having with most people. So let us know. I'll start off, if I may, beautiful ladies, and I will open the floor. So to me, energy, so to explain to anybody who's watching, by the way, I'm Joanne, just in case you're here and you don't know who I am. Hello, sorry, I haven't introduced myself. My name is Joanne Dunn. This is Ascension Evolution. I'm here sharing my journey. Take what resonates, leave the rest. You don't have to watch it. It's all good. So I feel energy. I hear energy all the time. My awakening was 5 years next month, and I've always heard and felt the energies as they come in. But since Monday last week, there's been nothing, like just nothing, quiet, and it's made me feel really uncomfortable because I'm so used to hearing whatever's going on there and feeling it, that I was starting to wonder, like, have they shut me down? Have I done something naughty that I shouldn't have done? Have they shut me down? Or but my other senses are working, my third eye and everything else is working. It's just the energetics of the reality. And it's like it's been switched off. And massive KP, we were in a massive KP as I woke up this morning, didn't feel it. Sun's been flaring, didn't feel it. So I've sat with it and I've sat with it, and we all intuit things differently, right? Oh, Candace is gone, she's come back. So we all intuit things differently. So for me, before I go into the why is why I think it's happened, I just feel like we've been shut off, and I've almost been asleep again energetically. That's what it feels like I've been walking in the world that I used to walk in. So that's kind of where I've been since last Monday. Does anybody else want to share what they've been feeling? Go on then, Kerry.
Well, it's interesting you say that because I remember how I spoke to you last week, how I saw like a prism, and it's like light being shone through that prism. And there was like vertical lines, and those vertical lines that I seen was representation of bandwidth of frequencies. So what I gathered from that was that depending on your frequency range, that you were being put into like a sorting hat, as almost like a bandwidth of frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And what I felt with the bandwidth of frequency, that people are staying within that frequency. They're not moving up, they're not moving down, because they're integrating, or they're integrating shadow aspects of them.
Okay.
So that's why people are feeling a little bit uncomfortable. And until they integrate their shadow aspects and they learn from those shadow aspects, things will be quiet. Does that make sense? And I feel that maybe on a collective level, we're all being put into bandwidth of frequencies. And maybe if you've integrated that shadow aspect, that's why things are quiet, if you know what I mean, that things aren't like really happening within this reality, or you're not feeling like some people are feeling. But what I am noticing is that people around me, or within my reality, that they're either really angry, they're really frustrated, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of anxiety. So it's almost like shadow aspects of them that they're working on at this moment in time to integrate. So whether that's right, whether that's wrong, I don't know, but that's what was shown to me, that we're in these bandwidth of frequencies at this moment in time.
And have you felt energy? Have you, like, if you tune into the energetics of now, what does that feel like?
Quiet.
Yeah,
so last week, in my, like, for myself, there was a lot of really uncomfortableness. Like I felt like I was almost like, like yourself, have I done something wrong? Because I feel like I'm falling. Like everything feels crazy, everything feels noisy around me. There was people pushing buttons, there's people trying my boundaries, that sort of thing. And what I learned was, once I accepted what was being shown to me, my boundaries, and I integrated that, and I started valuing myself and started valuing myself and my love for myself, everything then went quiet. So nothing was as noisy. There wasn't as much people pressing my buttons. Everything quietened down. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
In this reality. So it was interesting to see up until that point that everything was like crazy. I felt like I was losing my mind at one point. I felt like I was going nuts. Like, am I losing the plot altogether? Because there was so much jumping on me, and there was so much trying to pull me and have a look at this. And it was like my team was saying to me, well, until you learn boundaries, we're going to make it harder for you. Does that make sense? We're going to make it harder for you. So until you get it, that's when things will quieten. That's when you start stepping into your purpose. So it's almost like we're being put in a bandwidth of frequencies until we step into that higher self, that higher love. Does that make sense? And then you're ready to go. Does that,
Yeah.
so are we being put into like station pits almost? Does that make sense?
Like pit stops.
Yeah, pit stops. Right, pit stops. Let's get everybody sorted. Let's get them integrating all these shadow aspects. And then once they integrate all those shadow aspects, it's go time again. You know, things will start moving. I don't know. That's just what I seen.
Awesome. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing, Kerry. That definitely fits. Yeah. Anyone else want to share on?
Well, I've got something different. I totally get what you and Kerry are saying, but for me, the way I feel it is nervous, a real nervous feeling in my stomach.
Okay.
It's not mine. It is not mine. It's a collective nervous feeling. And I've been having dreams every night, and they really, really graphic dreams, and it's all about rebirth.
Okay.
Don't really want to go into detail about the dreams I see, but they are really graphic, and they depict what I interpret to be as rebirth. A lot of different scenarios, the weirdest scenarios you can ever imagine, but I remember them for a reason. And it's not until I sit down and actually try and make sense. It's like there's a big change, because we are constantly evolving. And all I'm getting, I got goosebumps just saying, all I'm getting from it is rebirth.
Mm-hmm.
Rebirth for everybody that's open to it. And I got major goosebumps.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it's going to entail. I don't know what it mean, but every single night for like, it's over a week, they've been more or less the same dreams about rebirth.
I love that.
But yeah, for me, it's just a nervous feeling in my whole core. It'll shake me. I try not to tune into the collective energy because I don't like it. It's not mine. I can't do anything about it. So I try not to. But when I get that feeling and I know it's not mine, I try and interpret and see what it is. But I don't know what it is. I don't know. I just feel it. And I've had major ringing in my left ear, like the loudest I've ever had. Major ringing. And the other thing is really tired. The last week, I've had a nana nap in the afternoon for like 4 hours, and I'm just wiped out like that. So don't get much sleep through the night, but I am literally wiped out. So yeah, I tend to sleep through certain things. The collective energies, they don't affect me as much anymore. You know, when you say, oh, there's a KP something, and
yeah,
I probably won't feel that.
Okay.
And it's my understanding, it's just my understanding and my opinion that I'll always get what I need when these flares come in. I might not feel it one day, I might feel it the next day, and nobody else will. But I'll always get what I need at the perfect time for me. So I don't always feel these X-flares and everything else. But on a collective level, it's a nervous feeling. Yeah, it's just nervous, waiting, you know, waiting for something.
Yeah.
And I've got goosebumps again. I don't know what it is. It's not for me to know. That's what they keep telling me. It's not for me to know.
Yeah.
And just, you know, chill. That's what I'm just being told is flow.
Yes.
Flow. You know, you can't worry about anything. You can't worry about anything at all. The only thing you can control is yourself, how you choose to react or respond to any feelings that you may feel, to anything that you see. Yeah, and just it's just easier to flow and just not worry about it. I mean, if yours are going quiet, it's for a reason. Perhaps they taking a well-earned break. Do you know what I mean?
But it's not my team that's quiet, Emma. It's not my team. I still have my team. I'm still aware of the things happening round about me. I still have the spiritual stuff happening. It's the energetics of it's the energetics that are quiet. So it's not like I'm not connecting, or because I've had times like that as well where like my team step back from me. That isn't what I'm experiencing. It's really hard to explain
So
because
it's the actual energy. It's the actual energy.
the actual
you're
like
in now
like
that
the
you're not
actual
listening. You're in
almost
it,
like
right.
the ether or the quantum or the matrix.
Yeah.
Maybe can we say that? It's like when I wake up, I can feel the energy. I can feel the energetics of everything, I suppose.
Yeah.
And when I hear it, Emma, so in my head, like I hear, like, I don't know if I'm hearing the Schumann resonance, or I don't know what it is I'm hearing, but you know, some days it'll be like, some days it'll be like, but it's always been there, and it's not tinnitus before somebody says it's tinnitus, because I'm not hearing it in my ears, I'm hearing it in my head. It's vibration, it's energy. And so but it's just not there. It's quiet, and it's not like my team's quiet, it's just like energetically it's quiet. And I liken it to like, so when I first woke up, the energetics that were happening at that time 5 years ago were, we'd have like 3 months of this silence that I'm experiencing now. And then you would have like 2 days, you know, the solstice would come in, and maybe the energy would come in, and it would be right. But you'd get 2 days in that 3 months. And then over the years, it kind of got, it was like we were getting like accustomed to this energy, and the time between in the silence got to where it was just like on all the time, like it was just all the time. So I haven't experienced energetic silence, but I don't know how long. I couldn't tell you the last time I felt the energetic silence. Does that make more sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. That might not be a bad thing though, because it can be a bit it can be a bit overwhelming if you can hear it and you can feel it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm certainly not saying that what we're experiencing now is bad, but it's different.
Yeah.
It's just not what I'm used to. And I'm not used to quiet. I'm not used to not being able to hear the energies that are coming in. So
maybe it's quiet for a reason. Maybe there's something going on that hasn't come to light yet, and you need quiet. Just putting that out there.
Yeah. Well, I did tune into it this morning, and I'll tell you in a little bit kind of what the information was I got, but I just wanted to see what everybody was experiencing, because I love as well that when we can get everybody here, everybody experiences things differently. You know, everybody sees things differently, everybody interprets things differently. And that's why it's so nice to have, you know, 5 different people here with their different experiences and their different interpretations, so that the people that are watching us and that are joining in can also know that not everybody experiences things the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that's really important, that, you know, people should understand you're not all meant to feel exactly the same things on exactly the same day. It's just my opinion. I don't think it's meant to be that way. I think we always get what we need at any particular time. Like I said, I don't always feel the flares and everything else that go on. Sometimes I just sleep. You know, when everybody's running around in circles, I could be fine. And I think it's a personal thing.
Yeah.
A lot of it is, yeah. And I do try and shut off from the collective energy, because it'd take me too long to try and work out what it means. And at the end of the day, I'm still reminded, look, you can't do anything about it. And and like yourself, you can share that's what you do. You can share that to help people understand, but that's not part of why I'm here, and I don't want to be tuning into
I don't want it.
It can be really draining, you know, when you can hear it all the time and feel it all the time. It can be really draining. It can be a lot of work. And for people that don't feel energy, they probably wouldn't understand the amount of clarity and focus that you've actually got to have to try and interpret these energies. Because it's not like they tell you, oh, you're feeling this because blah, blah, blah.
You can't explain it.
Like,
Yeah.
no,
You can't
it don't
explain
work
it.
like that for me. You know, my dudes, they don't tell me anything. It's like a quiz. Well, what do you think? What do you think? And I'm like, well, just tell me. But they never come out with straight answers, you know. It just don't work like that for me. I'm supposed to make my own judgments and understanding, and they just never give me straight answers. And that's probably a good reason, you know, a good thing, I suppose, because I wouldn't want to know what's going to happen in the future. I wouldn't want to know what's going to happen tomorrow, because it's part of the life experience, isn't it? Is to be here and see how we react to things and respond. That's why we came. Yeah.
Completely agree, Emma.
Yeah, it's mental. In a good way. In a good way.
I liked your perspective on it, though. I liked your perspective that you're like, I don't want to sift through all that anyways. I can't sift through all that. That's not my job. So I thought that was beautiful that you knew your job for the collective wasn't to hold the collective energy. It was to work through your own stuff and work with your own energies around you and what you're feeling. Yeah, I kind of got the Kerry energy and the Joanne energy and the collective energy. I have been kind of feeling a little bit for what they're feeling. But that feeling of like, am I doing something wrong? Like, am I no longer feeling these energies because I got cut off, because I'm not in the space where I'm supposed to be? And, you know, of course, that brings in old fears, old trigger. And I'm watching all these old triggers bubble up in this now moment. And I told Joanne the other day, I was like, man, I'm so much more in the head than I've trained myself to be. Of course, my head is there. I'm aware of it. I sift through it. I know it's there. But I try, and if I feel those feelings, I try and drop it into my heart space, my heart center, because I know that's the one where I'm steering and navigating from. But for some reason, recently, I've been almost, I don't want to say punishing myself, but really sitting in the head. And it's been completely unintentional. The other side of things is I'm going through a huge death process of, if you're talking about the sorting hat kind of energy, whatever Taylor I've created and all these versions and aspects of myself, I'm trying to go into this next version of Taylor, whatever version of Taylor I want to integrate, whatever versions of me are coming forward that I want to take with me. And I've noticed as I'm watching the death process of said Taylor I created around myself, it's almost like, as she's holding on, I'm noticing I'm getting more and more triggers to actually sift me into this sorting hat position where I desire to be, or where it's for the highest good for myself, where it's for the highest good for the collective. And I almost feel like I've been having little tests too. So one example is, I think many of us know like depression and anxiety are just ways of feeling energy. Of course, we know, I'll be careful what I say, but the system of that, you know, has been a little bit distorted and inverted on what we're actually going through and the energies we're feeling. I can get into a said depressive state really, really easily. I can, food is one of my things. I can sleep. I can spiral because sleep is a good escape for me. So I was starting to do that like I have in the past. And my challenge was, okay, yes, I have to feel this. I can't not feel this. I have to cry it out. I have to purge it. I have to move through it. But I also have to get back into, like, kind of kick my butt. Like, what do I need to do for myself? Well, I need to ground. I need to get in the salt bath. I need to just connect in a way that I know how to connect, because I have those tools now. I have these tools. I know the tools. It's, do I reach for them and do I use them, or do I go back into my old patterns? So that's one thing I've been feeling. I'm also curious about the battle of the head and the heart with us being in our heads and feeling disconnected from like Schumann's KP index and stuff. You said something about feeling how the collective feels. Like, I don't know, but that kind of hits me in a way of like, are we to hold that empathy and space for them? Of course, we don't hold on to other people's stuff. Like Emma said, you don't want everyone's crap. That's okay. But are we holding space for them in a way, in an understanding way of what maybe they feel? I don't know. I'm trying to sift through it myself. But one thing I've definitely noticed is being in the head, being asked to look at those old things. They're coming up to the surface, and I have the tools in the tool belt now. Doesn't mean I'm perfect. I'm going to mess up, and can I forgive myself when I mess up too? That's a whole nother topic of being hard on ourselves too. So I'm definitely going through a death process, asked to be present, not asked to be super present. It hurts. So that's me personally. I'm wondering if the disconnect has anything to do with feeling what the collective's feeling in a different way versus all their emotions, how they feel energy.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I love what you were saying about tools and using your tools, because this morning, I would say today is the first day in a couple of weeks, I think, that I've actually felt like I'm back to Joanne. Like I'm not back to Joanne. You don't go back to yourself, but almost like I feel energetically balanced and present and high vibrational, put it that way. And do you know why I feel that way? It's because this morning I got up and I had green juice, and I had my little shot from my turmeric and my oregano. Well, how do we say it again? Somebody tell me.
Oregano.
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 Prettier though.
Potato, or marrow, Emma. We'll talk about that in a minute. We'll talk about Emma's marrows. We'll have to bring in Emma's marrows, but we'll maybe leave that till the end of the so, and then I got in my cold tub, and I've not been in my tub for maybe 3-4 days, and I'll tell you the temperature has dropped here because that water was for. And then I had time this morning to have a long shower and do a salt scrub and, you know, properly clear my energy and have a big bit of meditation, rather, you know, because I didn't have to see things so much as I normally do in the morning. And I just had more space and more time to put these tools in place. So I know these tools help me energetically feel balanced, and I know these tools energetically help me be in the best place that I possibly can. So thank you for sharing that, Taylor, because I think sometimes it's easy for us to make excuses. You know, I don't have time to do that. I'll make time, Joanne, right? Just make the time to do it.
Yeah.
And the head and the heart thing, like, yeah, totally. I've been almost overthinking things. As opposed to things wouldn't even bother me, like things that like wouldn't even really bother me. I would get that, well, everything just happens for a reason, and there's been things that I've been overthinking about, and it's almost been like the shadow aspect, Kerry. There is a shadow aspect that I haven't been aware of. And they're louder, and they're what was that, Taylor?
An initiation. Like, how else do you pass through the temple of the next self until you go through the initiation of the higher aspected shadow self? I just watched you, like, I watched you look at it. I was like,
yeah. So like it's almost like this, because I've done so much work on my self-worth, and I've done so much work on loving myself, and I've done so much work on the thoughts that come into my head, and it almost felt like I'd taken a step back, and I'm realizing it's not that I've taken a step back, I've taken a step up. And because I've taken a step up, there's almost this different dimensional shadow version of me that has got louder, and I don't recognize the voice, even though it's my voice. I'm not schizophrenic, okay? I don't recognize the tone of the voice, then, shall we put it that way? So I've caught it. And this is kind of one of the reasons it's led me to, you know, having this conversation with everybody today. So interesting. And obviously, Taylor, you know, you're saying about this death process, and there comes in Emma's rebirth, right? Emma's talking about rebirth, and to rebirth, we have to go through that death process first. Fascinating. Candice, beautiful Candice Marie, would you like to interject anything, beautiful lady?
Sure. I would love to. Yeah, it's been interesting the last few weeks. I don't know. Yeah, a few weeks, I guess. For me, I've been having really, like, I sleep hard. I sleep super hard, and I've had super vivid dreams, like every night that are, I mean, some bad dreams, and also just like when I go to sleep, it's almost like I'm in between sleep dreaming and like I'm not quite asleep, but I'm still aware, and I'm like everything I felt during the day, it's like I'm not even that person anymore. It's like I'm somebody else, kind of talking to my talking to my subconscious or something. It's really weird. And it's all stuff I've never done before, and I've definitely feel a lot of unworthiness and like I'm being left behind, or I'm not doing good enough, or like I think I was telling Joanne, like I feel like I've been dropped down into first grade again, you know, I'm having to start over. And that's, I mean, it's been tough, and it does bring up like, what do I have to look at? And then my daughter and I have had have had some talks where it's like, wow, we mirror each other and realize that we're complete mirrors of each other. That's all we do, is we just, everything in our life is truly a perspective, you know, a
Reflection.
everything that it's all trauma from our own self that we bounce off of other people, all in every aspect of our life. And but then when you sit and talk about it, you really, if you're really listening to each other and hearing each other, you really can become more aware of that. And so a lot of my trauma from my childhood has come up a lot that I thought wasn't there anymore. And it's funny, I made her watch Dumbo a couple of nights ago, because I was like, you really don't even know. She's like, oh, I love The Little Mermaid. And I said, oh, have you ever seen Dumbo or Pinocchio? Or like, that's what I grew up with. Like, I was completely traumatized, and I'm starting to see all that stuff come up in me.
You made her to watch it to feel the trauma.
I did. And she was like, wow, Mom. She had no idea. She'd never seen it. And she said, I can't even believe they were allowed to have movies like that for kids. And I was like, I mean, I bawled. Like I just remember being traumatized. So anyway, it's just a lot of that stuff is being put right into my face. And yeah, and then I talked to you and I was like, wow, this is truly like a test all the way around of just looking at myself. And yeah, I don't know. It's a lot. It's been a lot, but it's really been a good, and I'm very overthink things. And like, you know, this whole hurricane thing going on, I'm really aware of everyone else and how they're like, how am I responding with other people? Because I'm not used to being around other people, but especially people that aren't in the spiritual community, you know? So I've like right in my face, like helping me, and people have had a lot of love and a lot of it's just really like a big mirror for me, I think, the last few weeks, more than anything, being shown a lot of things I've never had to look at. So I don't know. It's a growth process for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if anybody who's been watching for a little while, what I felt was happening energetically was that we were going through this ascension process. So it was like we were going through this grading process of, and nobody fails. Candice, you certainly don't get put back to first grade. That isn't what happens. But it was just, it's like a culmination.
Culmination.
I'm really good at words, I know. I say light language.
Yeah, yeah.
Culmination
Yes.
of words. Oh, we need to do telepathy soon because they either mean really bad things or they're failing me. So anyway, it's like we've been through this collective process of healing all this stuff and doing the work, and it's to get to where, right? And it's there. Everything that we've been working for is here, and it's almost like our team's like, well, it's there, like step into it. But I suppose if we're stepping into higher vibrational versions of ourselves on the light side, that also has to bring balance in over on the night, the shadow side, right? So that makes sense. When take or leave whatever I say here, right? When I tuned into this morning, because I proper space to do so, and it's really quiet. It's really quiet. What I got was, it was like the Matrix had been switched off, right? Whatever that is, okay? Like the Matrix had been switched off. So there's your death and your rebirth, right? And when I came out the shower, this is going to sound really, really weird, but anyway, I'm going with it. So when I came out the shower, I looked at the window, and I could see, in with the steam and the bits that weren't steamy, was a Viking boat. And there were Vikings with spears and shields, and they were like rejoicing. And then underneath it was a Native American with the big feather headgear on, with their hands out like this. And I heard ancestors. And what I got from that was that it's almost like the ancestors or the beings agreed to stay here to help us through a certain part of the ascension process are now getting their ascension. Okay. So it was like whatever keeps that soul here. I mean, we don't have words for these things, right? I'm calling it a matrix, some kind of grid, some kind of matrix. It's been switched off to allow these beings to go on their ascension process, but on both sides. So it was also allowing the other side, be careful what I'm saying here, and you're just going to have to decipher it. It was also allowing the other side to make a decision that they could also exit.
Okay.
And so I said, well, does it go back on? Yes. And I said, what happens? What will I feel? And what I heard was euphoria. You'll feel euphoria. So for me, these energies help my ascension process. These energies that I feel, the energies I'm talking about, not the collective energies, the energies that I feel I'm talking about, I'm not feeling right now, you know, whether it be from the sun, you know, that's our galactic center. You know, I believe that these energies come in and they help us shift from the carbon to the crystalline process. They're helping our bodies, they're helping our frequency, they're helping our DNA. We've got all these codes coming from the sun. And whether we understand it or not, I know that I certainly don't, but I know I'm changing via these frequencies that are coming in. These frequencies aren't holding us right now. they're not holding us. So it's almost like we're having to do the job by ourselves. So that in itself is, well, how much have you learned? Do you have to rely on these frequencies that are coming in to keep you in a high place? Do you have to rely on these frequencies that are coming in? Or can you get the things and the tools that are in your toolkit, right? Can you use them to keep yourself? How much have you learned to be in your center? How much have you learned to be balanced? How much have you learned to ground? How much have you learned to, you know, because for I've been hearing get ready for ages. Like, are you ready? Are you ready? And now all I hear is, when I ask what I can do, is be present. That's all I get. I don't get anything else. It's be present, just like Emma was saying, right? Be present. Stay in the moment. So there's so much multi-layers to this, I feel. It's almost like a test of, well, what have you learned? And can you be present? And can you keep yourself centered? And can you keep yourself in that vibrational space that you like to be in? So that was what I got, and that was what I heard this morning about. And I heard 3 days, and for me that would be 10 days altogether. And interestingly enough, last week I don't remember me saying to you, Kerry, well, just before that, I'd heard you know, when there was a big announcement in this country, that's all I'm going to say about that, was I heard 10 days of darkness. So is that 10 days of darkness for me energetically, because I'm not going to have them energies supporting me? Was it collective? That's why these things, you can interpret these things, but every interpretation you make is just your interpretation. Everybody else is going to make a different interpretation of what's going on. But for me, that is my understanding of what's happening energetically, is that this reset, this restart, this it's almost like a, and I was speaking to Thomas, I don't know if you're still here, Thomas, in the chat. I was speaking to Thomas today, and he said this beautifully, so I'm going to rephrase what he said. And he said it's almost like a canvas, Joanne, and it's like the canvas was like a you know, a rubbishy plastic canvas, and we're now getting to like rub everything out, and we're being presented with a new canvas, but it's the most beautiful you know, I what's a really good canvas? I can't remember. Sorry, Thomas, I can't remember what you thought. Really beautiful, like silk canvas or whatever it is. You know, it's this massively upgraded, where you can paint the most beautiful. You can paint an even more beautiful picture, and it's going to be even smoother, and it's going to be even more vibrant. And I thought that was a beautiful way to put it, because I do think that's where we are. You know, with speaking to you all today, we're all interpreting these things differently, because we all feel differently and we all experience things differently. But what I'm gathering is that it's a new start. It's almost like we've wanted to create silk. There we go, Thomas. There he is. He's in the chat. It's almost like everything that we have been working for, this new earth, it's almost like, well, here it is. What are you going to do with it? And I'm just getting goosebumps while I said that. I just got like a little all over. So rebirth, yes, absolutely. 100% we're going through this rebirth. Shadow integration, definitely, as we step up, we have these other versions of us. You know, and if we're stepping into higher vibrational versions of us, there's obviously going to be a balanced shadow aspect to that. So shadow integration, absolutely. The head and the heart thing, is it that our heart, because interestingly, when I was grounding this morning, I'm all over the place when I'm grounding. I'm in different things now, and this morning it was ground into the heart of Gaia, and I went, well, I don't want things grounding into my heart. Are you sure she's okay with me grounding into her heart? Like, is that okay? And I was told yes, like absolutely. ground into her heart. And it's almost like the frequencies that have been coming in have allowed us more, because of the frequency, to be in the heart space and to connect to the heart space of Gaia. And now that possibly if they're not there, that could be why we're maybe more in our head space, because the frequencies aren't assisting to keep us in the space of the heart. And I know that my tools have definitely helped me get there today. And I do keep going, right? Yeah, still not on. I keep stopping and going, yeah, no, still not on. The vivid dreams, like I seen in the chat, everybody's been talking about vivid dreams. So would it make sense then, do you think, that if we are, and we're going through this ascension process and we're stepping into these higher vibrational versions of us, does it make sense that we're also stepping into, we're dreaming about different vibrational versions of us? I mean, I don't know if that resonates with anybody, but I know before I fell asleep, like I was wrapping Florida up in gold light last night. I woke up doing it. And like, I don't mean it's not intentionally, like, goodness, I'm sending my love and everything over there, but it was almost like there was this version of me that was doing this kind of as I woke up, and I was really aware of what I was doing. And then when I fell asleep, I kind of woke back up again. I was having a dream where I was saying to my husband, stand back, I can shoot lightning now. And he was like, go for it. And I'm like, and then I woke up. I was like, oh, darn. Because I usually have these really 4D dreams, but it appears I'm not in that space anymore. I'm dreaming in a different space. I'm waking up in a different reality. What do you guys think about all that?
Yeah, that's interesting for me. When I'm working, I'd say when I'm working at night in dream time, when I'm working and doing what I need to do, I'm aware of what I'm doing, and I can do everything. I can basically do everything because I'm in a different space. Even though I call it the in-between. I'm totally aware of what I can do, and I can walk around, I can touch things, smell things, clear things, and do what I need to do for the planet or wherever else. But I'm capable of doing everything. All that I am in my dream when I'm working. If I have other dreams where I'm shown, like the dreams I've been having for the past week, 2 weeks, however long, I'm actually an observer. I see myself.
Okay.
And all these different things. I'm not able to walk around, touch, smell.
So you don't interact, you're just watching.
Yeah, I'm just observing me in a situation. Whatever message they are telling me, it have usually got to be really graphic for me to remember it. Because for some reason, my dreams are not like they used to be. I used to remember every single one. And now it's like I'm not meant to remember. It's really hard for me to recall. I can recall everything when I'm working in my dreams, when I'm actually there doing things. But when they show me, it's like I'm not meant to remember everything. It's just the really graphic bits. And they need to be graphic for me to remember. So that has changed. But yeah, in those dreams, I'm just an observer. I can't move around because I'm quite nosy. You know, when I'm working, I want to touch things. I want to walk around. I want to be like, oh, what's that? What's that over there? Can I go do that? Yeah, so my dreams have changed in that aspect. I can't remember all that they show me, you know, when I'm just being an observer. It's like I'm not meant to. Just certain little bits that stick in my mind that I've got to stick with and just try and make sense of. And it have been constantly rebirth.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's for me personally or the collective, but the feeling I get is for everybody that's willing to accept something better. You know, if you're working towards something better, then that's rebirth. Just let go of the old and, you know, embrace the new. I think that's what the message is. It's embracing new birth, new life. A new life different to this life. It will be a new life. That's what I get from it. That's just my interpretation.
Exciting, isn't it?
It is. Super
See,
exciting.
cool.
And that resonates, the rebirth resonates, because last Thursday I went into meditation to do something, but I was taken away and I was shown it was like I was standing in front of this mirror and I was shown my current version. And my mum, who passed away last year, she appeared. And I heard that this current version no longer serves you. So she took this current version, and then this higher version was standing in front of me. And she had this red curly hair. And she was like, "Are you ready to step into this?" So she held out her hands, and it was like this major embrace. And I was sobbing and I was howling. And then Friday was the equinox. I'd done your equinox. So when you started describing, I was like, oh my goodness.
Because that's what we did.
Yeah. So when we were doing the equinox, I was like, well, we'll just like go through the motions and see what happens. And I went on a different path. And they started showing me all the things that no longer serve me, all the things that I like didn't love myself at all. And I was like, well, what is that? I don't know what that is. I've never experienced love for myself. How do you love yourself? Like, that's something I've never experienced. And they were like, you need to let go of all the things that no longer serve you. So like your website, that no longer serves you. That current version's now gone. So what I got from that was like, after I'd done the integration of the shadow aspects, etc., I was ready to now step in to this higher being, or this higher dimensional, or whatever you want to call it, whatever resonates with you. And it was like, that was then all the magic started happening. And it was like this, right, the story of the jumping spider. I love jumping spiders.
Oh, please tell your story about your jumping spider.
This is amazing,
yeah.
right? So there's this jumping spider, and I've been fascinated with jumping spiders. Yes.
Can I just rewind a little bit? Because
Yeah.
this goes back right the way to the beginning of summer. When we were on holiday, we were away in the caravan together, and there was spiders. They were everywhere. Spiders have been absolutely showing up everywhere.
Yeah.
So sorry, I was just like,
Yeah, and it's all,
bit.
yeah, absolutely. And it's almost to the point, like, I was like, am I becoming the spider whisperer? Like, what's going on? Because they were just crawling all over me. There's one that sits in this pyramid, that lives in this pyramid. And I was like, you just stay there, Mr. Spider. So anyway, I started falling in love with these jumping spiders. All of them, Emma, right? Seriously. So I was like watching them and watching them and watching them. When I felt like I was going nuts at like last Tuesday, there was a spider on my door, and I was like, oh, what's that? And I got closer, and its little head tilted and looked at me. This is what jumping spiders do. They stop and they watch you. And it tilted and looked its head at me, and I went, oh my God, that's a jumping spider. And I was like, I'd never ever seen one in my puff. For all the years I've been on this earth, I'd never seen one. And I was getting so excited, and I could feel this heart-to-heart connection, and I was like crying. It was like, oh, jumping spider, I love you. So I was like, I went inside, I was like, thank you for coming, Mr. Spider. And I went back out, and he was still there. But my girls were having an absolute meltdown because they don't like spiders. They're absolutely terrified of spiders. I was like, I'm sorry, Mr. Jumping Spider, I can't take you in right now. I just can't do it. But when I like made sure he went off on his journey, but I heard he'll be back. So I was like, oh, I hope he comes back, because I really felt this heart-to-heart connection with the spider. And today, guess who came back? Mr. Jumping Spider.
Aw.
So I have now got him at home, and he's now residing. He's called Jingles the Jumping Spider. I absolutely love him. I love him. I was like, Jingles.
Jingles.
Yeah, and it was just like, Why? What is the odds in that? What is the absolute odds in that? That's just, it blows my mind.
I had a
Do you
dream
know-
about a spider last night. I just had to tell you that because it's been like sitting here over on my tongue. I don't really dream about spiders, and I had a dream about a spider last night. So I don't know if that's for you or what, but
Oh, interesting.
Do you know
Spiders,
what,
spiders mean
Kerry?
abundance, aren't they? Spiders mean abundance.
and weaving your dreams per se too,
Okay.
like you create your, like the canvas thing, you
Yeah,
create your
create
dreams
your-
as new reality. You choose it, which you've been saying this whole time. You chose to step into that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Kerry, I've got to tell you before I forget, and I wish I had messaged you. I told Joanne last week.
Okay.
It was, I had 2 dreams on the Friday night and the Saturday night. The Friday night, Joanne was in that one.
Okay.
The Saturday night, you and Joanne was in there. And what you've just said about your mother
Mm-hmm.
and stepping into something different, we were actually at a party, and it was to do with rebirth. So what you've just said makes total sense, that that's what it meant, rebirth. And I told Joanne all about my dream.
Yeah.
And I wish I had messaged you now, because you've said that and I got lit up and I felt it. And you did. It was at a party. And
Wow.
you and Joanne were there, both celebrating. It makes perfect sense to me now that, makes perfect sense to me that you both at a party. A rebirth party.
A rebirth party.
Honestly, you can't make it up. I told
No.
Joanne about it, and that would just give me like full body tingles. I saw you accepting and partying, and
Oh,
I
wow.
love that. And it's so weird how
Oh,
this
my-
stuff works.
Yeah.
I was like, why would I be dreaming about Joanne and Kerry? But you were there. I could even tell you what you had on. It's amazing. So that's that. So well done.
Blows my mind. Yay! And we all get there. We all get there. We all get to that point. You know what I mean? It's just, are you ready to step into that? Are you resisting that?
I need to call my dog out. Give me a little second.
Yeah.
Guys, Kerry, you
It's-
can just you carry on now.
Are you okay? It's like, are you resisting that? Are you ready to jump into that? What is it? Because what I felt last week is the more I resisted it, the harder it was getting, like for myself, the more I felt like I was losing my mind. And it was like, okay. And one night I just thought, I'm going to sit in this pyramid and I'm going to work on this. And that's when I brought myself back into balance, pulled whatever was there. And I was like, right, okay, let's go. And then the following night, it was this rebirth. And you know, energetically, that whole time that I was resisting and finding it hard, I felt yuck. I felt like I'm not myself. I am not myself. I don't know what's going on. Like am I losing it? Is my frequency down? Am I off that path? Like what's going on? But as soon as I acknowledged it and brought it into my awareness and went, okay, let's get this sorted, it was like I felt like a new person. I still do.
Oh, that's amazing, because I didn't know what it meant. And I didn't, and I said to Joanne, I don't know what it did mean for you both, but to me that kind of dream is like giving you a certificate. You know, whenever I'm somewhere where there's balloons, or if I'm in a classroom, I know I've passed something, you know, it's like a validation, a pat on the back. But I didn't know what it meant for you or Joanne. But now that you've said that, you just can't make it up, because I just wouldn't randomly dream about it.
No.
Yeah, balloons, cake, loads of food. Yeah, it was brilliant.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you've heard that, like Kate.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you, Emma. That's beautiful. Thank you. I love
It's brilliant how it works. You know, they just come out of nowhere, but they always mean something. Even if I got to wait a few weeks, a few months, my dreams, they always mean something.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
usually straight away, but this one's very quick. So thank you for validating.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate that. Like, really appreciate that validation.
Yeah, I gave Joanne a multi-gem, a baby multi-gem that she was playing with. I'm sure she won't mind me saying that, sharing that. And she was playing with the baby multi-gem. She loved it.
That sounds like me.
Shiny stars and mirrors and sounds and bells. Yeah, she loved her.
Wow.
Well, congratulations.
So maybe I have gone back to kindergarten, spiritual sunshine.
They have got to be like this for me to remember. You know, it's the more bizarre it is, the more I remember. But yeah, that's beautiful. Kerry, I'm so happy for you. That's
Thank
lovely.
you. Thank you.
Aw.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Yay!
Brilliant.
Thank you all for sharing so much. Has anybody got anything they would like to add? Anything else they would like to throw in? What I would like you to do, actually, if you've got any links, Kerry, I know your website's upgrading just now.
Yeah.
If you can send me your links, and Taylor, send me your links. Emma, your links to Resonance, please. Is your website up and running yet? Uh-huh. Yeah, if you've got anything that you want to share with the collective, let me know, and I'll pop it on this video as well so that people can know where to find you guys if they want to find you, because you all do so much beautiful work. Candice is down there like, I don't. Yes, do, Candice.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
Yes, you do. See, Candice just is so full of love, and whenever you see her, we face in Scottish, Candice, you're just your wee, because it is only wee on my screen. It's just a little wee face. You're always just beaming, and she just holds space so much for everybody. Like, you just sit there and you okay?
There's yeah, the squirrels are playing in the palm trees
Oh,
up
it's a
here.
squirrel. A
I
squirrel?
thought they were gonna fall out of the tree. That was loud.
I wonder what squirrel means. Hold on, I'm gonna Google that right now.
Sometimes it's like harvest energy, like they're ready to eat their nuts. Like, are you ready to eat your nuts? Well,
Depends what type of nuts, Taylor.
trying to think like a squirrel, man.
That is so funny. Oh my god.
That's just, yeah, that was just dirty. Are you ready to eat your nuts?
Dude, I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. I didn't mean it. I do want to reaffirm for Candice too, like, you really are like spiritual sunshine being your name. Like, it's actually
Aw.
kind of perfect. You really are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely
you.
is.
Yeah, it's so beautiful how everybody does have their own, I don't know that they're gifts, but their own thing that resonates in their body, that helps them to, we all connect in such a different way. We all have so many different parts to play. We all have so many different experiences, and all of those things together are it is a beautiful tapestry. I just, I watch people a lot, and I feel like I've always been that empathic, even the worst of the worst, you're like, oh, I just see why they're like that, and I love them anyway. But and then you got to learn the boundaries. But yeah, I think that's my thing. I just love, there's
love
this,
that you
it's funny. I do. I just love, and it's funny because there's this dog, and we're out on our back patio, and this neighbor walks by, and our dog is there, and so they turned around. Everybody's walking their neighbors, all have their dogs that they walk. We all know each other's dogs. And this one dog, every time they walk by our patio and I'm out there, it just stops and it sits down, and it like waits for me to come, and then he's pulling on it and it won't leave. It just wants me to, I don't know. It is just bizarre to me. I've never had, I just love, I don't know.
Animals
I think,
know.
yeah. They
know.
do know. They do know for
They
sure.
do.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's my dog. He's telling me time's up. I need out for a pee, Mum. It's his birthday today.
Aw,
Oh,
Happy birthday, Buster.
Oh.
Happy birthday to many times. I'm gonna let you
how
know
old
as
is
well,
Buster?
he's 10.
Aw.
He's 10.
Bless him.
And oh, no, I'm not saying that out loud. I was gonna say his farts also smell 10 years old. If you ever see me on live or I'm having sessions and stuff, and all of a sudden I go, because Buster's in the room.
Buster.
Anyway,
My
so the
gosh.
squirrel, always lower the tone. I'm not in the nuts. I'm bringing the farts. Right. So the squirrel totem represents rebirth.
No, it does. No, sir.
Oh,
Do you swear?
I swear. The squirrel
Wow.
totem animal represents rebirth, renewal, energy, positivity, hard work, duty,
Aw.
and balance.
Let's go.
Yes.
While squirrels constantly guide us towards working hard and being prepared, the squirrel totem specifically guides one's attitude. The squirrel totem represents positivity.
Oh,
Wow.
Beautiful.
That's
Oh,
perfect.
lovely.
And of course,
Oh.
Joanne had to look that up just right at the right moment. It's a perfect
Yeah.
moment for the perfect theme for
Did
this
you?
Yeah,
little
I-
gathering. That's perfect.
the most perfect ending,
Mm.
because that's everything that we'll be talking about.
Oh,
Between us all, we've all had a bit of that.
Mm.
It's lovely. I love that.
it's
love
such
that.
a beautiful
Yeah.
tapestry, and
It is. And that's how it's supposed to be. All totally different, all totally unique.
Yeah.
And that's why they work so well, because how else would we reach out to other people to learn, to share? And I think that's beautiful.
Mm,
Absolutely
is.
beautiful. Ah, goosebumps.
Oh, I love you guys.
well, thank you all so much for being
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you for sharing the space. Time is something that we never get back, and it's our most precious commodity. So thank you all for taking your time and being in the space to share and to be in service, and for bringing your energy and your love. And everybody in the chat, thank you also for being here.
Oh,
We have such a beautiful collective family, and we've got so much to be grateful for the
Yes, we
past
do.
few years, because it brought us all together. You know, there are people, you know, beautiful friends all over the world that I wouldn't have met had this not happened. You know, well, maybe, I don't know, we might have, but you know, probably not, and probably not in the same way that it happened. So it would be nice maybe to you know, get together again at some point, and you know, just have a wee chat and things, because I think it's really nice just for other people to share their different perspectives on what's going on with them. And this is where I think we are. Someday my stream's like, yeah, you could have just ended with squirrel. But I think this is where we are. I think this is how we are of service. We just share what's helped us. We just share what's helped us, and the tools have helped us, because energetically that brings in, vibrationally that brings in the people that need to hear that, or that want to hear that, or that can use the same tools that we've used to get to where we are. Not that we're any better than or any higher than, just that we've maybe experienced it, something, figured it out, got to the other side, and we're able to put our hand out and go, take my hand, I can help you through that. And that's where I see where we all are just now. So this chat has been so beautiful. So we're all going through this beautiful rebirth, and Buster's needing the toilet. He's like, I'm rebirthing too, but you won't let me out in the back garden.
oh my God.
So let's just I know I'm gonna enjoy the silence now. I'm just gonna know that I'm settled with everything that's going on. I haven't done anything wrong. I'm very, very worthy of where I am, and I'm gonna look at that shadow. I'm gonna look to integrate it, see why it's hurt, love it, bring it in, and drop down. Remember to drop into my heart instead of my head, be present, and then I'm ready for the euphoria. If that euphoria is coming
Yeah.
3 days, like bring it, man. Like bring it. So ready.
Sorry, I get excited.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love
And if you
girls.
don't feel euphoria in 3 days, you know, I'm sorry about
Ding!
that. Okay, so thank you all so much for being here. Love you all so much, and we will see you at another time.